The Notes They Lost by Rafeeat Aliyu.
I loved you silently, so perhaps it was kismet that the melodies we created together opened portals. With you I witnessed many new worlds, musical voyages trapped in slim records, angelic choristers in sacred halls, the fast rhythm of calypso dances. And there was this place unlike the home that we both know, this other place where folktales are situated. Recollect the first night we observed the gateway. I long considered it fortuitous that your love for composition would encounter my passion for song, forming a bridge to a realm unlike any known to humankind. That night, gold-pierced gloominess, as what appeared to be 1,000 fireflies, appeared from a source I still cannot say. They shaped themselves in a circle of an entryway that manifested from another unknown place to ours. Every second with you was magic, but this was beyond the limits of possibility. How we stared at that golden portal. I had ceased my singing, and you're tinkering with instruments. Silence swallowed our music, and in that instant, the gateway dissipated. We were once again shrouded in darkness.
The Gate of Fire, I christened it. It issued a silent invitation to both of us to explore worlds untold. It had to be us two, not one or the other.
I insisted that it was a window, one shaped of glowing bugs. Before we crawled through, I thought its smooth watering hole shape was suspended midair, like part of a house with invisible walls. And the interior of that house was darkness, straining against the window's superterrestrial glow. Rakia, you found me that night, my back pressed against the secretariat's back wall, so that the ridges between red brick etched my skin through the cotton of my shirt. Around the office was bush and night that blended with me as I strummed the air with my fingers, tightening the wind into strings that shimmered with sound. Red glowed at the end of the cigarette I held between my fingers, ash dredging the grass. As I drew in smoke, the ghost of our last kiss materialized. I tasted nectar at the memory of your parted lips closing on mine. We searched for the source, how you hauled my psyche into your being and replaced it with your essence. I whistled a trill note from between pursed lips. My fingers sought the concrete lines of the wall behind me. The ensemble of my fantasies widened, the triumphant squeal of a trumpet, the tremulous clang of the organe. I tapped my shoe on the ground to throw in the squeeze, release squeeze of talking drums. It was music that was solely, entirely mine, yet you heard it.
If I doubted our love before, it was confirmed that night. You told me that I complemented the sounds of music trapped in your head. I heard them all, the guitars, the bells, the drums. They reached inside my soul, inspiring me to sing. You said that you breathed melodies, not words, that the song was me. My song was a breath, and you heard it, not with your ears, you said, but through them.
We'd seen each other countless times at work, but never in this sense. I long admired the full edges of your skirt. You kept your hair braided in two plaits that rested on your collarbone.
I admired the knife edge of your tailored pants, the shirts you wore always a pristine white. You eschewed ties and kept your collar open because you wanted the world to know that you cared little for propriety.
Those prominent arches where I at last planted my kisses. When we summoned the Gate of Fire, Rakia, you took my breath away. In the dark of night, gold dusted your palm oil skin, giving you the appearance of a royal chanter of yore. The fragrant breeze, as redolent as your perfume, filled my lungs. Your song ranged from shrill to low, and I venerated its ancient authority.
Might anyone blame us for seeking to discover what lay at the other end of our magic? You slipped in first through the window, your senses seeking out danger in the dimness between realms. You later told me that as you entered that other place, Your subconscious released youthful memories of fables, the kind born on plantation nights, where the community gathered to bask in moonlight and share tales of monsters that you didn't know yet existed. We might have received that as a warning.
We proceeded together, our hands linked as we entered this place of no light, no movement, and no sound. Only at first. That other place stirred in awakening upon our intrusion. How it welcomed us. Flowers lifted their delicate stalks, rainbow heads tilting like a compass desperate for north. The wind swayed with echoes of our song, and foggy mist retreated with each step we took. There were many trees of dew-studded star apple, the delectable kind that coated our fingers with sticky nectar, with their glutinous flesh that gave more sweetness the longer one chews. The cornerstone supporting this place noticed us too. It spun itself into quickness. It lunged at being disturbed, and we would feel its protest, but not immediately.
How we delighted at the thrill of being the discoverers, like those who had come from the Great Britain to discover our hills and rivers. It did not occur to us to consider that this new world might be home to others, that to them we were the ones harboring foreign things.
We dared to consider that place ours. With its verdure and brilliance, it was perfect for lovers seeking respite from the sensuous eyes of chaperones that would shame us for our differences.
I was the precious first daughter once, not anymore. The extended family that abandoned me after my parents died would rouse themselves on occasion, like the sunbirds that return every rainy season, to remind me that I amounted to nothing. My head was unveiled, my secretary job was suspect, I was unmarried and in the company of men all day. Had they gotten wind of it, they would twist our love into something acrimonious.
And we had no cause to fear, for even when the gateway dissolved into shadows, we summoned it once more with our harmonies. I knew all about the darkness of the world as we know it. I tortured myself every day for forgetting that monsters do not limit themselves to earthly boundaries.
Our love felt amplified in the world at the other side of the gate, like a heady ache that longed for a satisfaction it would never achieve. I longed for every part of you, to feel the softness of your touch, to catch the hoarseness that claims your voice low, when we together consume sweetness.
Then the window slammed shut, rendering us apart.
The colors of the other place initially brought to mind the colors of my childhood. We danced and jumped in brown mud after the rains. Then Ummi shouted at us to come indoors from the edges of her green. She smiled too later when she wiped our runny noses with the edges of her veil. Green yam leaves sprouted from the earth. Every other day, kosei bobbed in dark golden oil. Black wheels spun to infinity on the wagon that ferried us from the hamlet to the market. Everything changed when blood red splashed into my world, rendering me an orphan. I see that red again here. I am again an orphan, separated from you.
Rukia, I will never be the same. My world is bereft of sound, of light and redolence. Each second I spend revisiting the song you imbued in my head, but the lyrics are fading. You sang of initiations, honey medicine, yogurt white flowers, and voyages. Or was it of orange blossoms and tamarinds? I am ruined. I continue living for the sole purpose of reuniting with you. I am alarmed at the impossibility of this task. Who else will intuitively match my mind's melody enough to muster another gate? If our magic is tied to our deep affection, I am certain that I will never love anyone else the way I do you. This note may never reach you, but I must entreat whatever authority watching the space between worlds, for surely there has to be one, to transmit my sincere thoughts across realms to reach you.
But you mustn't attempt to return here. Obim, know that I live, but unlike on earth, I feel neither breath nor pulse. I am in service of a being that presents itself as the sands of the swamp. It would seem our intrusion awakened it from a slumber that was not truly sleep. The sands keep me alive for my stories, since it is interested in our human affairs. It is exceedingly powerful. I will invite more mortals to visit this realm, where it will keep them captive. I pray that you do not become one of them.
You've just listened to The Notes They Lost by Rafeeat Aliyu. The story was read to you by Rafeeat Aliyu and Cadwell Turnbull. Rafeeat Aliyu writes about women, magic, and myth. She has her MFA in creative writing from North Carolina State University. Her short stories have been published in Nightmare, Strange Horizons, Faya, and Omanana, among others. Rafeeat received the Norwest Cone Scholarship to attend the Clarion West Workshop for Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers in 2018. In 2020, she was one of 3 African writers selected for the AKO Kane Prize Online with Vimbai membership program. She is a 2023 Miles Moreland Scholar in Fiction. Cadwell Turnbull is the founder and creative manager of Many Worlds. He is the author of the science fiction novels The Lesson and No Gods, No Monsters. His short fiction has appeared in The Verge, Lightspeed, Nightmare, Asimov's Science Fiction, and several anthologies, including the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy 2018 and the year's Best Science Fiction and Fantasy 2019. His debut novel, The Lesson, was a finalist for the Newcomb Institute Literary Award, shortlisted for the VCU Cabell Award, and longlisted for the Massachusetts Book Award. To find out more about Many Worlds, check us out at manyworldsforum.com. Thank you for listening to Many Worlds.